World. It's Trex. We're in a new park today. I've been honestly having a pretty overwhelming day. This is the first take. I don't know if this one will be used because it'll probably take me a bunch of tries today to get whatever's in my mind out. So you're probably not seeing this. Let's see. Get the lighting right. Does that look good? Too bright? It'll probably get darker. Hopefully it looks good enough to start if we stay with this one. Yeah, just fucking in my head a bunch about, I don't even know, just overthinking a bunch. Overthinking about just why I'm doing what I'm doing, which I never really get to. I'm normally like really solid on that one, which I guess could be a good thing to, I start there, like, why do anything? When I was a kid, I watched this video, and it was about, like, your why, or the reason you do something, and how people aren't really interested in what you do. They're just more interested in why you do it. And what you do is kind of the, what you do proves or shows people why you do something. And I was fascinated by this, and I went down like all these rabbit holes of like purpose and why, and it led me to this place of like my why, which is to inspire. It used to be inspire as many people as possible. Don't let anybody tell you what you can or can't do. And it was always kind of my goal to have that impact at scale. And right around that time, I was finding music, and I was finding just my voice in general. And yeah, that just led me down this like pathway of like kind of shaped my music as well. And like a lot of my favorite musicians or artists that I'd find at the time kind of had a similar why. A lot of the stuff I would read would have a similar why. And I just kept going down this rabbit hole of this pathway of how to have the world hear my why. Like, don't let anybody tell you what you can or can't do. Don't let anybody tell you who you can or can't be, because I think from a young age I had just seen that. I had seen that in my own life. I had examples. My brother has autism, and just from an early age, like, I was able to see how none of this is really that serious. We'd be like, for context, we'd be like my brother can't talk, but he's very loud. Like, when he's there a lot of times. And like, we'd be in a restaurant, for instance, we'd be eating dinner, and he'd just get up and like start kind of just causing a ruckus in the restaurant, or like grab somebody's food, or just do something. And as a young kid, like, at first you're just like, holy shit, like, my world is crumbling. This is bad, bad, bad. Like, just because of anxieties and social norms and how you're supposed to act, and then your embarrassment and all this compounded feeling. And eventually you see that 3, 4, 5 times, and what happens is the whole fucking place panics. The whole restaurant freaks out. But then everything 5 minutes later, it's like it never happened. And I would just see this every single day of my life, again and again and again. And it gave me this really good perspective of the world, of just like, it's never really that serious. A lot of times all these things we freak out about, 5 minutes later, 10 minutes later, an hour later, 2 days later, a week later, you're not even thinking about. And so I got the privilege of seeing that over and over and over again in my life. And because of that, I had this kind of confidence that I would every now and then pass on to other people, and I would experience this really, like, I think it gave me the most fulfillment, the most joy, was to then take and show other people this idea that it ain't that deep. And also, not only is it not that deep, you compare that and have that concept coupled with something that you do care about, an impact you do want to have, and let that just be the fuel. And so anyway, that became kind of selfishly, that became like my fulfillment. I'd love to like show people that energy. And anyway, that became my why through my music as well, of like going, I thought music was a really good vehicle for the longest time of how I was going to have this why accomplished at scale. I thought, if I can just have a direct conversation, and maybe this wasn't what it was at first, but it's definitely what it turned into, was like, if I could just have a direct conversation with people through my songs, and just give people that feeling of whatever I'm going through, and then put it somewhere and then have somebody else find that. And then if we all just pull up and at a show, that's kind of what really did it for me. It's just like the live show is being able to transmit that energy and have that feeling of like, this is a belief I've lived with for so long, and it took me from where I was as like a really sad kid who just like couldn't figure it out and like kept feeling like I was being told I couldn't do something by the world, and I showed, and it's a direct proof, and in the room you could feel it. And I've felt that energy before, and it is working, and it does work. But eventually even that got kind of just didn't feel like enough impact, because I just realized like my perspective isn't the only perspective on the world, and I realized I'm only one voice and I only have one lived experience. And for me, I love traveling, and I love people, and I love culture, and I love experience, and I love family, and I love depth of just a shared human experience. And I think I'm one piece of a way bigger equation. Like I honestly, the closest thing I have to like a belief system is that I think we're all the same. I think there's another video I watched maybe a few years back that like really gave me this kind of planted this idea in my head, which was this idea that we might actually all be the same. It's the closest I can get to the way I really feel. I have this line actually on a song I just wrote I'm gonna put out soon called, where I say, what do you feel when you look inside and know there's nowhere to hide? What do you feel when you close your eyes and think about the beginning of time? And those are like two feelings that like, if you close your eyes and try to think of the start, when you know there's just nothing between you and your soul, and you really can sit and sink and like get to that place with yourself and have that conversation, or at least allow yourself to get there with just you and the truth. And I think where I normally get is that this feeling of connectivity and this idea of like, whether it's karma or these other laws of the universe, I think there's just certain experiences we have that, like that kid in me who experienced this from my brother and then would act it out. I would, show my friends, hey, yo, nothing matters, do this. And then the joy that would bring me to see then how that could positively impact their lives or anybody's lives, anybody I come in contact with too, and share that energy and then see where it went. I also felt that's like a positive, and then you can feel the negatives. Anytime I would judge somebody, that's another one. Like in order to feel less judge less. Like that's something that stuck with me for so long. And it was just it's all these karma-based laws of like cause and effect. You have an action, there's gonna be a reaction. And for me, it kind of led me to the spot where I believe maybe, but from a feeling standpoint, maybe we're all just the same person. Maybe we're all living the same human connected experience. I don't know why I went down that rabbit hole. Oh yeah, because it just stopped feeling like enough, bro. Like if I sit down and I'm honest with myself, I've done it. My goal was to impact as many people as possible. Don't let anybody tell you what you can or can't do. And I've already, like, I'm living the life, and I've built my life in a way that's already gonna allow that to happen. And because of that, it's already existing. It exists now. I'm gonna fix the color. It's probably gotten mad dark. I know it exists now, and I know because it exists now, and because I've built all these like things that I'm gonna do, and like just systems to allow me to keep like expressing that, and it's just gonna keep getting bigger and bigger, and I'm going to impact as many people as possible. So it just got kind of that's when it got tricky. That was honestly like, I think a year ago when I had that realization. Was probably I was first starting to figure out the touring side, and like just went through a really big wall with that, and I just had a really big realization of like, no, this is gonna happen. This isn't like, I just had this realization of that, and this realization that I had already done it. I think honestly one of the big ones was a kid came up to me at a show that wasn't even my show. It was when I was in a band, and a kid came up to me, and he said he came to the show because of Nandina, and he asked me why I didn't play Nandina, and it wasn't my show. It was the band show, and I was like, dang, like it wasn't part of the show, and I kind of felt bad, but it was one of the first times I had experienced one of y'all coming up to me and just being like in person and saying what it meant. And he told me some really deep shit, and like it just like it's one thing to get the messages and like the DMs. There was a time where I was getting, when my music first started taking off, like I'd get 10 a day of like really impactful messages, and like it never connected to me that that's what was going on. It never felt real. It doesn't feel real because it's behind a screen. And I over the course of this whole shit, I've probably gotten thousands. And that kid who came up to me at the show kind of just represented all at once every single person who had ever hit me. And I had this crazy, like, it still gives me chills to think about, but it was like all at once my body kind of just felt how real all of those messages I had gotten were. And all at once I was kind of able to, I think, begin to let go and start to process, which is like a fucking tough thing to process, yo. So that's why I think it's taken me so long, honestly, talking about it out loud. But like, it let me begin to process this idea that that's already happened. And yeah, I guess with that in mind, like, yeah, sorry, I never really think about these things. Yeah, with that in mind, I think now that I have kind of sat with it and processed it and just kept saying again, like, bro, there's just always more games to play. There's always more levels. It's like I was already playing shows, and I was already having people come to the show and be like, yo, you made me, like, you impacted me. And for me, it just didn't even feel real. And it's like, no, more. And it's like, bro, if I keep going with it, like, I've realized over the last like year and really been trying to deal with it, but it's like if I keep moving that goalpost and keep saying it's never enough, because it really isn't on a feeling level, bro. Like I have this drive to just, for whatever reason, keep moving and be like, nah, it's not enough. And I think part of it, and what's helped me a lot, was I was saying I want to impact as many people as possible, but that's just not even possible. Like, you can never impact as many as possible. It's not a real number. So it can never happen. And I was like, I'm gonna just drive myself crazy. Like, I pull up every day and work on this shit. Whether it's the music, whether it's getting heard, every single day I wake up, I'm working on this. Whether I'm trying to get better at something creatively, whether I'm working on a song, whether I'm trying to get the music heard, whatever it is for the point of what I'm trying to accomplish. And that's another thing, is realizing how small of a piece it is for myself, because I don't, honestly, that leads me to the point of why I'm overthinking right now, is just like, I don't want to live my whole fucking life on this just monotonous, again, move the goalpost, okay, just this chase of something. And then one day not exist anymore and be like, damn, you really were never present the whole time. And I have really good moments of like really being tapped in and really feeling, and like, for me, I have to be really intentional about it. Like every time we go on tour, I have to be super intentional about it, because it's really easy to get caught in the blender of just travel and all this shit happening, and also trying to process all the shit I'm talking about, like new versions of that, and just like the everything, the food, the people, everything. It's just such a fast-paced experience. So, I have ways through those have that's almost like practicing what I'm talking about on hard mode, to be real, which has helped so much. Because I got good at it, where I can like sit down in the mornings, write down, really focus, and maybe I'm not great at it, but I'm definitely good at it now, to be present in these waves. But every now and again, when I'm got my head down, and like this week, I'm just really working hard at some shit, and working hard at some shit I don't really even get to show the world. A lot of times it's so delayed, it's months, years, decade in advance. But yeah, I realized I just didn't, I don't know, just kind of feeling like, what's the point, What's going to happen when it does all happen? What is the point? Down to that human connectivity thing again. If the whole point of this is if the whole point of this is the experience, then why not just do that? Just experience, don't worry about it. Why me? Why why you? Why do you have to be the one to have that positive change affected? Why not just, I also believe change starts from yourself. So it's like, why not just live your life with that? And it's kind of the more you know, the less you know, my overthinking of this concept. I don't know. I was down the rabbit hole of all of that thought today while I was just really locked into working on a lot of stuff. And then I had to make this video, and that's how I was feeling. So I'm sorry if this was that's why I'm hyped to have these videos. It's just, I can ramble, put them out, see what happens. Yeah, I think the second piece of that was, and some I got caught rambling on but never finished, and this one was just the idea of wanting to empower those other perspectives, and me realizing it's not even it as much as I want to have that impact. It's not up to me. Other people want to have their, versions of impact, which I just think is other giving. That's the main thing, is I feel like I have this gift and this ability to like give to other people, which is themselves realizing and then showing how to have their own voice heard by the world. Because all of us just have these ideas that we live with constantly. We think the world, we see the world through self. Every one of us sees the world through ourself, like our own lens. And it's such a frustrating fucking experience, because it's like you just feel so unheard after a while. You feel like the world, especially right now, the world is just telling you again and again and again what to think or how to think or why you're wrong or why you're right or whatever it is. And they're just trying to send you different ways. And it's like, bro, I want to have my original thoughts and ideas out into the world. And that's where I go. I think that's really what art is. And I think that's for me why I want to empower artists and why I want to empower creatives, because it's fucking tough, bro. I've given so much of my life to this. Just the idea of wanting that to exist for myself, and then thinking about it of how it can apply again and again to others, using like just laws of the universe, laws of karma, laws like just shit I pay attention to. And anyway, I think I'm getting really frustrated just and overwhelmed thinking about what all comes with that, and how much of myself I have to give to something like that to really pull it off at the level I know I'm capable of, while also just trying to experience all this and just fucking enjoy it. So, yeah, it's kind of a lot. What's the point, though? I think that's the title I'm gonna run with for this one. Is who knows, man? Maybe the point is you never figure it out, and maybe that's the point. Maybe the point is the experience. Maybe the point. Man, if you clicked on this video and you were looking for an answer, I'm sorry. It's just me rambling. Yeah. What is the point? When I really get down to it, though, I think the point is just joy and some of these other feelings. Love, I think, is a big one. I think these positive emotions. I think honestly the point might just be for us to all get to experience those. And in order to experience those, I think they come with the negatives. And I think light don't shine without a little bit of dark. That concept is very real, and it makes the beautiful times more beautiful. Yin and yang, two sides, cause and effect, all that. That's real, man. So maybe that's the point. Maybe the point is to just feel that and to just not stop. I think that's another thing. Just keep going, man. Don't give up. Don't quit. Don't quit on life. Man, don't quit on life, man. Back to the beginning of this, like if you're ever just feeling like in this headspace that I'm feeling right now of overwhelmedness, but it also has a tone of like a really dark tone to it. Because I felt that too. I felt this, but also felt hopeless at the same time, and that's even worse. But you got to remember, you will get through. You will get through that era. The only way to get through is to get through. The only way to get through is to just stay one step in front of the other and keep going. And it doesn't matter what that looks like. It's just forward. It's only forward. That's it. It's like you got to go through. There's no up. There's no around. It's through. And you got to buckle in. And it fucking sucks, bro. Like, I'm sorry if you're really dealing with that. I feel that, man. That is not a fucking place nobody should want to be there. But I do believe that because of that, you also get to experience this like overwhelming light, so long as you just keep going through. And maybe that's the point. So I'll end it there. I probably can't see me. It's really dark. I hope you could see me in general. Yeah, thanks for watching, y'all. Thanks for letting me fucking ramble some bullshit. See y'all tomorrow. I might come back here. This is a cool little park we found. Peace.